All right, today's topic 6 in the Pursuit series, and that means we're going to start talking about faith. So let's just answer this question to get started. What is faith all about? Or maybe another way to ask it is, what is the Bible all about? We'll be talking about that quite a bit in this track. Or really, generally, what is God really all about? Because there are a lot of ideas out there about what God is really about. Is God mean? Is he vengeful? Is he all about laws and rules and regulations? And everyone has their own ideas about this, but we're going to see what the Bible has to say about it. And let me just tell you right now, the answer is love. God is about a lot of things, but more than anything else, according to the Bible, God is love. The Bible is about love. Christianity is about love. Having faith is all about love. In fact, the love of God is what started the whole human experiment in the first place. If you open the Bible to the first chapter, Genesis chapter 1, it says this in verse 26. Then God said, "Let us make human beings in our own image to be like us." Now, if you go back and read this whole chapter, you'll see that God had created pretty much the rest of the world by this point. This was day number 6, and now finally God created human beings. I want to point out something in here that might seem strange to you. He says, "Let us make human beings in our image to be like us." And what we're talking about here is God, the Father, the Son, Holy Spirit. We're talking about the Trinity here. God has always existed in community. He's always existed in loving relationship, and he created human beings the same way. In fact, later on in the New Testament, Jesus taught that the greatest commandment of all of the commandments in the Bible, the greatest commandment is actually love. So if you go back to the Old Testament and you can read about the 10 commandments, go ahead and review those 10 commandments. But if you look at those 10 commandments, according to Jesus, they all boil down to love. At least that's how he answered the Pharisees, the religious leaders, when they asked him what the greatest commandment was. He said in Matthew 22:37, "Here it is, you must love the Lord your God with all your heart, soul, and mind." Jesus said the first and greatest commandment is about being in relationship with God. He used the word love. It's all about loving God. Notice it's not about laws or rules or regulations. It's about love. And then later he says, and a second is equally important. He said, love your neighbor as yourself. So just take a look at Jesus's answer, how refreshing this is. Religion is not about rules and regulations. It's about loving God and loving people. And so Christianity, faith, is all about love. One more thing. According to the Bible, love is more valuable than any other gift or ideal or personal characteristic that you can have. So if you want to be a religious person, if you want to be a Christian, if you want to be a faithful person, if you make a list of all of the things that you think being a Christian means, at the very top of that list is love. It's more important than anything. In fact, Paul talks about this in 1 Corinthians 13. He says, "If I could speak all the languages of earth and of angels, but if I didn't love others, I would only be a noisy gong or a clanging cymbal." He's saying it doesn't matter how gifted I am. He says, if I don't have love, it doesn't matter. Later, he says, if I gave everything I have to the poor, even if I sacrificed my body, he says, if I didn't have love, I would have gained nothing. It's pretty incredible. Paul is saying here that he could be a martyr for the faith, a Christian martyr. He could give all of his money and take a vow of poverty. And if he didn't have love, he would have gained nothing. And at the end of the chapter, he says this, these three things remain. They'll last forever. Faith, hope, and love. But he says this, but the greatest of these is love. Pretty amazing that a religion would teach that even more important than faith is love. But that's exactly what Christianity teaches. So, what is faith all about? What is Christianity all about? This word right here. It is all 100% about love. So as you continue on in this series, as you learn more about the basics of faith and what it means to be a Christian, now whether you're starting off brand new to the faith or whether you've been a Christian your whole life, focus on this word because this is what Jesus told us to do. It is all about love. God is love, and his followers should embody that same kind of love.